Hello and welcome, my name is Simon and we are the Whales of Wall Street. Today I'm going to be running through my top 5 gaming crypto assets and why I'm invested in them, and hopefully it gives you guys a bit of entertainment along the way as well. So without further ado, let's jump straight into the browser and see what this is all about. So just before I crack on, just want to point out a website that I've used for many years. It's UKIE, so this is relating to the gaming industry and the market in the UK. Bit of my background previously was involved in esports and partnerships, so yeah, this is something of great interest to me, and as well as just being a bit of a gaming nerd in general. So yeah, I've got all my retro consoles, from the Atari to the SNES to the N64, and now recently, of course, the new Xboxes and things like that. So this is right up my street, and this is why I wanted to kind of present to you what's available in the crypto market, and I've picked out my top ones here to run through. But yeah, do take a look at this website. Some unbelievable statistics in the gaming world. But yeah, certainly from my research over the last few years, some absolutely mega numbers being thrown out at the moment. Things like over 35 million players in the UK between the ages of 8 and 74, playing games on various multiple platforms. There's things like it now being esports in general the second largest streaming category on YouTube after music. So it's absolutely massive. It's even ahead of movies and sports and things like this, and a big sort of increase as well in terms of watchers online, and participants. So I think a few years ago, one of the key records, League of Legends, which is a game, 73 million unique views in that one viewership episode of watching basically teams playing against each other. So it's absolutely incredible. And one of the key statistics on this website I pulled out from the 2020 data, over £7 billion has been spent in gaming alone. £7 billion. So you now know why I'm kind of bullish on esports and things in terms of markets and investment perspective. The money's just going to keep continuing to drive into this category and sector 100% as we shift into VR and more, even more like esports, these sorts of things. It's absolutely staggering, to be honest. What the capabilities are in this market sector. So that's kind of like just a key pointer. Have a look at the website. It's great interest, and it kind of builds the platform of what we're going to talk about now as well. So what we're going to do now is go into the top 5. I haven't put these in any specific order. I'm just going to remove myself from the equation here, just so you've got the full screen again. So my first pick here is Decentraland. Now I want to go into massive detail behind this because I have done another video. Please do check it out on Decentraland, i.e. Mana, M-A-N-A, in a lot more detail. And we will do more videos on Decentraland as they keep bringing out the cool updates as they go on. But just as a nutshell, Decentraland is basically a virtual reality land. You can buy and sell land, you can buy and sell assets, you can share your regions, you can allow visitors. So there's a big, massive spectrum here of potential capabilities of this kind of game. And I did sort of draw comparisons on kind of integrating The Sims with a game called Second Life, many moons ago now. Bringing in these kind of arenas to be able to create your own avatar and bring yourself into the game, be who you want to be. Dress how you want to dress, do what you want in this land. Obviously it's moderated to an extent, but the one thing about these kind of platforms, and a couple of others we'll mention soon, is the DAO factor, which is basically decentralized autonomous organizations. This allows kind of like a voting moderation system in the game. So it could be things like in the land, like voting on what things you are and aren't allowed to do in certain regions and things like this. So it's really cool. Check it out. Start up an avatar if you want. It's pretty funky. I haven't done one myself just yet. I might do when I get a better gaming laptop or PC for sure. I can only just handle things as you might have guessed with some potential terrible transitions and video content quality in the last few videos, perhaps. So Decentraland takes the number 5 spot. As I said, it's not in any particular order, but it's certainly one of the 5 that I've picked. Absolute top crypto. Mana, it gets burned as well. That's why it's a bit of a scarcity element to it as well as we progress. That's why, of course, the price will potentially jump up as the token itself gets burnt moving forward. The next one on my list is Sandbox. Now, this is actually quite a popular one. There's quite big YouTubers like BitBoy, do push this quite a bit, and various other YouTubers, across the cryptosphere. Sandbox actually reminds me a lot of kind of like Minecraft, except I think what's good about this over Minecraft is just the actual next level in terms of creativity and engineering. So this is very architectural in some aspects, very creative, like Minecraft, but the fact that you can essentially, again, with like this virtual reality world, so very much multiplayer based, create, build, sell, buy, again, very similar to Decentraland, perhaps just a bit more unique in the way it looks and kind of platform. Perhaps you could argue that the platform or the age sort of demographic it's aiming for is perhaps slightly younger. I think Decentraland opens up a lot of opportunities in multiple age groups, and don't get me wrong, like, many ages play Minecraft as well, but that's the kind of aspect I get from it. But the interesting thing again with these kind of platforms is the play to earn sort of element of this. So when we're talking about the Sandbox token, when you're buying and selling things using the Sand token to do that, just got again another kind of really good tokenomics asset platform here to engage with. And again, as you go along, of course, the more people playing, the more sand that's needed to generate transactions and create assets and things like this in the world. So it's definitely one on my radar. I quite liked the market. Hopefully my internet doesn't fail me just yet. Some really cool little NFTs that you can participate in buying and selling. One thing that was very interesting was the Smurfs. Good. Well, look at this. All the old Smurfs. Good old Papa Smurf there. There's a couple of really cool other things. One other one that picked my eye was Deadmau5. Very big popular DJ, one of my favourites for sure. So loads of cool stuff going on in Sandbox, and that's why it's in my top 4. Nice little funky asset as well as a really cool platform. So again, go and check that one out 100%. The next one on my list is Dawn Protocol. Now, I find this really cool actually. So this is again related to kind of like actually more so a platform that I've used in the past called Gfinity. So Gfinity being more centralized before kind of crypto gaming and DeFi gaming came along. Gfinity was a platform that allowed you to create your own tournaments, invite friends, play for money, play for tournament prize money and things like this. This is kind of taking it to the next level in terms of esports, on the kind of like blockchain level as well, but allowing you to sort of stake within games and potentially mine extra tokens through this. So it's a good platform actually to make a bit of money within these kind of games as well. First Blood, which we'll go into in a second, which is basically actually the gaming platform, so the games that you use to essentially formulate the Dawn token or the Dawn Protocol token, and what you can use for transactions and things like this, entering games or rewards for games and things like this as well. So very much around matchmaking, rewarding with prizes of monetary value or through the Dawn. And of course the good thing about Dawn is, again, the more progressive it gets, the more popular it becomes. The more the token will keep rising. So when these gamers are winning their tournaments and prizes and things like that, it does create more value, because when they go to sell these tokens back on the exchange, of course, the more money they might make out of it as well. So and as I mentioned, the First Blood, so there's some really cool games involved in this already. There's quite a massive amount of users as well already on this. Really cool games like Dota, Warzone, of course, Call of Duty, absolutely phenomenal game. My Xbox, I sold it to get the new one, and disappointingly still can't get my hands on it. So that was a bit of a bad move on my part, but I'm waiting patiently. It's okay. I will come back onto Warzone for sure. But yeah, some cracking games on there. Absolutely, again, fantastic statistics here already in terms of prize money already being generated and distributed, the amount of matches that have been played and users, etc. So it just gives you an indication of how big this already is and how early it is already. It's just incredible how early we are with it all still. So again, around the messaging of keep competing and earning from wherever you are. This isn't just about PC gaming, things like this, integrating mobile platforms and everything. So you could be on the bus, you could be on a train, earning rewards, playing games that you love. So really excited about this one. Again, as I mentioned before, I will do individual videos like I've done with Decentraland already on these individual picks for sure. I'm really excited about them, so absolutely no issue doing that whatsoever for you guys. And then number 2 is Enjin. Now, this is actually one of the first ones that I participate in buying assets for, investing in, but back in the beginning of the year. I really believed in what it stood for. It's very much focused on kind of the NFTs. So I think there's a statistic on here I read the other day. 1.1 billion assets have already been created and generated using the Enjin platform and powering. So it's formulated on like a minting process, so you can create NFTs to use on multiple platforms. And again, I do believe this is like so early in the game, excuse the pun, but like it's very much like one of my favorite films I've mentioned in a previous video, Ready Player One. Very much soon we're going to start seeing proper blockchain DeFi gaming where you can have your avatar, you can go into whatever game you want, you can take in the assets that are applicable to it. I mean, obviously you can't, well, you might be able to, it might be quite difficult versus some assault rifles, but you might be able to take your sword into Warzone, who knows. But I very much doubt that I'm sure there's going to be some level of moderation and usability in these things, but the idea hopefully is when the game metaverses and things like this come out, with all the new blockchain servers, you will have more ability to take your personality, take your avatar, your gaming assets across multiple platforms, very much like Ready Player One. So some really cool NFTs I'm sure are going to come to play more and more, and Enjin powers that massively. And there are some gigantic partnerships recently that they've pulled out of the bag, which we'll go into on another video, as I mentioned individually. But this is fantastic. I'm super bullish on Enjin. I know quite a few people that have got this and doing extremely well with their investments. Obviously, we've had a bit of a market dip across the board from everything, but Enjin was one of those that was absolutely flying about a month or so, absolutely flying. So keep an eye on it. It's obviously not financial advice, but I'm sure at the moment it's a very good price compared to what it probably will be towards the end of this bull run at the end of the year and in the future, which is what I'm more interested in, a few years' time for sure, as esports develops, as NFT technology and blockchain technology increases. This is the kind of thing you want to be really interested in for sure. So that's Enjin in a very small nutshell. My final one is actually TLM Alien Worlds, and this is a really random one that came into my portfolio through Binance Launchpad. I've no idea what it was. I just knew that I've stuck BNB in and I get these tokens of TLM. But actually, looking into more detail, wow, I was like so impressed with this concept and this potential game. For me, this reminds me of a game that I used to play when I was younger called Shattered Galaxy, and it's very much a kind of like a combination of like the kind of Risk games where you're territorial, you build your army, you build your assets, you go into battle and fight with other players against other region teams and things like that. And it was a really cool game. Unfortunately, as games do online, occasionally they dip off after a few years. The server starts crashing and bugs come in or whatever, and then people move on to the next one, right? You can still play Shattered Galaxy, by the way. I do recommend just jumping on there, having a bit of fun, see what you think of it. You can at least understand the concept of what we're talking about here with the Alien Worlds. So Alien Worlds is basically kind of like, again, in terms of play to earn, but more importantly, collecting items via various planets that you go and visit, who are owned by people like you and I, who have essentially built these worlds, owned the land on them. You can rent them out. You can buy and sell NFTs. You can buy and sell land. You can buy and sell pretty much anything on there. There's a big, massive element to this in terms of the online gaming section of online battles. You're getting rewarded with the TLM token that you can, of course, again transfer into exchanges or use it to, boost your presence in the game essentially. And there's a really cool element of the mining as well, so you can actually mine the token within this game also. So some really cool applications to this. As I mentioned, buying land, fighting other teams to gain the glory, gain the territory. I do recommend watching a few sort of YouTube videos and things like that online about this, but it's a really cool little game. It's going to keep growing 100%. One amazing stat here on the Binance Launchpad, $10 billion worth. $10 billion worth was staked on the Binance launch. That is incredible. That just shows you, yes, of course, you've got investors who know what they're doing. And yes, lots of people hold BNB just for the quick gains and this, that, and other when we're doing things like Launchpad activity. But I truly believe with all the statistics, go and check out the UKIE site, go and check out other places. The money is there in gaming. It is no surprise to me that there's a lot of money in this already and in these kind of games. What I probably didn't realise was the 10 billion just on this in that short space of time. So it's absolutely incredible. Sorry, my screen's going a bit slow. The internet is terrible in the sticks here. But hopefully you get some time yourself to crack on, join in, get playing, see what you think about it when you've got some time. And similar to Decentraland is the DAO platform as well, that element of being able to essentially kind of like moderate your own world or moderate your land, decide on prices, decide on what can and cannot be done on each world. Can you imagine like invading and things like this? Quite cool. So it's like Age of Empires, all these mix of old school games coming into an online platform element. So that's the number one pick in terms of the top 5 that I've picked out. There are 2 or 3 I would recommend looking at. I'm not going into massive detail. We'll do individual videos. And they haven't quite reached my top 5. One, because they're not fully integrated yet and not fully complete to analyze properly and give a kind of better overview on the game itself. But again, Battle, Collect, Earn, Axie, they've done a lot of stuff with like Pokemon related things in the past and a lot of mobile gaming. Keep an eye on those guys for sure. I'm sure they'll do big things in the near future, 100%. I do know people in the gaming world that spend like 20-30 grand a month just on mobile games to get to the top spots. Trust me, there is a lot of money in these kind of platforms. The other one was BPro. I do have a holding in this and I will go into detail on this one as well. It's actually originally betting protocol. It was kind of originally developed for the protocol of trading and betting kind of thing, but it is moving into gaming and decentralized gaming and things like this, building platforms, kind of maybe like Enjin actually in that sense. Do keep an eye on it. I'm really bullish on this one, but the network hasn't fully launched properly yet, so I don't want to jump the gun just yet, and I'll wait a bit longer before I go into more detail of that. And the last one, which I've mentioned a couple of times, Network. This is actually started listing in terms of an ICO, I believe, but I do want to do a video on this very soon. I truly believe this is like Decentraland potential, like 10, 20, 50 times in terms of its potential and what it can do and what you can do in this world, in this VR world. So keep an eye on those three. Like I said, unfortunately, didn't make the top 5, but they are definitely 100% suitable and applicable to think about in the gaming world for sure, in terms of the gaming side of things. So hopefully you guys have found that interesting. Like I said, I think gaming is absolutely gigantic market. It's exciting. It's something I've always been interested in. Take a look at all the various statistics sites. Take a look at all these ones that I've mentioned. I will put them in the description below, just so you've got them for reference. But yeah, hopefully you've learned something. Hopefully it's enticed you guys to have a bit more interest in the gaming side of crypto. It isn't just about finance like Bitcoin currencies and this, that, and the other. There's actually some really cool stuff going on in the background. So hope you've enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe the video. It really helps the channel. We do now finally have Twitter and Telegram. Can't believe we've taken that long, but here we are. Please do join us on those platforms as well. Get involved in the chat. Share your thoughts, opinions. Really interested in hearing those. And make sure you click that little bell next to subscribe as well, so it makes sure that you get the live notifications when we drop some new videos in the future. Other than that, as I've said, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something. And all it's left for me to say is hopefully see you on the moon. Thanks, guys.